So let me ask you, something goes wrong. Who can say in this room, have the courage, the confidence to put your hand up and say, I was on a job, something went wrong, I owned it, and by owning it and taking responsibility, it actually helped me build my brand, build the brand of this local and our profession. Put your hand up. Have the courage to do that. Something went wrong. Yes, Chris, right? Please, tell us. I want to make sure everybody can hear you, that's why.
I was a first-year apprentice, and I was doing a job at IMCLone, and I was trying to get in a certain spot with a lift, and I didn't realize the knuckle of the lift was completely pushing the stainless steel pipes out of the way, and I completely jacked them all up, and I know it cost a fortune to fix them. And at first I didn't say anything. I'm like, maybe nobody will notice it.
Maybe no one will notice it.
And then,
I've been there.
I looked at it, it's obviously noticeable. They came up to me on the job and asked me if I did it, and, I said, yeah, I wasn't gonna lie to them. And
You owned it.
I owned it. I didn't get laid off, the guy appreciated me not lying to him about it and owning it. That was it.
So let me ask you something. I'm curious about something, Chris. If they hadn't come to you and asked you if you did it or it happened, I'm not sure, and maybe you're not either. Do you think you would have said, hey, I just want to let you know such and such happened?
I'm not sure.
Honestly.
Let's hear for honesty. Put your hands together for honesty. I love that. That's tremendous. So last summer, you ready for this? I'm a big fan of owning stuff, which is not very popular in Washington because nobody owns anything there. You did that shit. I didn't do that. So you ready? So our son, who's 17, last summer, he's 16, turning 17, he works at a golf course that I play at. So his job, one of his jobs, he cleans the clubs, and one of his jobs is to take I don't know what it is, but they pick up all the balls. There's probably a name for it, but I don't know what it is. So they teach him how to do it, and he's driving the thing. He doesn't even have his license, but he's driving through, and all of a sudden he calls me. He goes, Dad, I have a problem. I said, what's the problem? He goes, I was driving the truck with the thing, with the net, and I went through the sand trap, and I ruined the sand trap. I said, what were you doing in the sand trap? He goes, I made a wrong turn. So I said, Nick, listen to me. You've got to go over to the starter. And you've got to say, Mike, we need maintenance. You've done this before. So I said, Nick, go to Mike and say, Mike, this is what happened and it was me. And he said, are you nuts? I want to talk to Mom. So I said, Nick, listen to me. Trust me on this one. You can ignore a lot of other things I say. On this one, I want you to tell the guy that it was you. And he goes, Dad, what if they don't find out that it was me? Which is a good question. And I said, Nick, they might not. But I'll tell you what, if you own this, you give yourself a better chance. I mean, they're going to be pissed, and I'm going to have to pay for something, I know. It's all right. But if you own this, you'll set an example that you are the one who takes responsibility when things go wrong. You don't look to blame anyone else. You don't stick your head under the covers. And I'm not saying it in a stupid way, but you did it, Nick. There's no doubt about it. And he reluctantly did it, and then they threatened to fire him, and he was pissed at me. But in the end, the guy thought about it. It did cost us money, but the fact is, to this day, our kid is thinking, what does it mean to take responsibility? I want to be clear, taking responsibility doesn't mean you get away with it. It means you got a better chance of showing your character. To me, leaders take responsibility when things go wrong, even if some of it wasn't your fault, which sounds crazy to people. I have a chapter in my book that says great leaders take responsibility, in parentheses, even if it wasn't totally your fault. Barack Obama, listen, in my book, I couldn't care less about your politics, whether you voted for Trump, Clinton, Obama, I couldn't care less. So what I did was I wrote in my book, when Barack Obama, back in the day, I guess 2000, give me the year, when they did the health care reform, otherwise known as Obamacare, they had this website. On the website, you're supposed to go on the website and sign up on the exchange. And for 2 years, they were getting ready for this, except as they got ready for it, they realized it wasn't going to work and you couldn't actually sign up for health insurance. And Obama, the president, well, there's a glitch in the system and so, we've subcontracted it out. I said, hold on one second. And I wrote in my book, wait a minute. You hired the person to head up the department in the health department area where the thing has your name on it. It's called Obamacare. And now you're going to pin it on some subcontractor? The department you hired someone who hired that person. You got to own it. And people in the Obama administration were pissed. They didn't agree with me. And here's my view. The same thing is true. Hillary Clinton on her phone. I don't know who. Emails? I have no idea what you're talking about. Somebody must have. I didn't know. Same thing with President Trump. And I couldn't care less what your politics are. You say something or do something, own it. Don't pin it on anyone else. Don't blame anyone else. Part of the reason there's so little leadership in Trenton or Washington is this is going on. And what does that mean to you guys and women? My opinion, great leaders, people who build their brand in your profession, when things go wrong, be smart, own it, take responsibility, and then take the next step. What's the next step after that? If you own it, you're only halfway there. What is it? But Courtney, you can't actually fix it. If Silvio, he couldn't, I don't even know if he could have fixed it. He didn't even try, but I still see the wire sticking up. I had to hire somebody else. But my point is this. If he, say it again?
Respond.
And
Respond, come back.
come back. What about if he says, I can't fix this, but I can do what else?
Right.
Do something for me. Take something off the bill. Do something else. Here's what I know. When you own it and then offer to make things better than they are, you are building your brand. If you did nothing else, it's a smart move.